People keep asking whether or not Iran declared war on the U.S., but I think that question misses the whole moment entirely. What actually happened was no legal declaration, no votes, no mobilization order, no binding threshold crossed. What actually happened was linguistic ignition, because war isn't being used as an action, it was being used as a condition. And that distinction matters, because declarations used to be doors to violence, but now they're mirrors to violence. So it wasn't aimed at armies or treaties. Right. It wasn't aimed at the law. It was aimed at time. I want you to really think about this, because war language compresses time. It forces response before meaning and hardens audiences before facts actually come out. And once that happens, nobody is steering. They're just reacting to velocity. That's all that's going on. So both sides keep arguing the binary. War or not war. Escalation or restraint. But the conflict has already slipped sideways, and we've seen it by now. What's operating now is not a decision structure. It's a feedback system. Proxies move faster than command. Narratives move faster than intelligence, and markets move faster than diplomacy. So intent lags behind consequence. That's what I want you to get from this, because Iran's statement was not reckless. It wasn't. It was adaptive. In a world where direct war is catastrophic, language is literally leverage. I want you to get what's going on. It mobilizes internally, pressures externally, raises the cost of being ignored, and it does something else more quiet. It pushes responsibility downward. Catch what I'm saying? Because when the system heats up, for the first blame that's going to come out is never going to land on the president or the doctrine. It's going to land on a proxy commander or a regional unit or somebody who acted independently. Just like always, that's how the system protects itself. And that's the slip that everybody talks past, and the media predictably slides right into it. Because the media doesn't ask what the system is forming. It asks who started it. Right. Those are not the same question. Right, I want you to get what I'm talking about. The media doesn't ask what system is forming. It asks who started it, because the landscape is already arranged. Legacy outlets flatten complexity into a cadence. They make a statement, they issue a reaction, they talk about the escalation, then they issue blame. So cable news turns geopolitics into posture. Digital platforms turn posture into momentum. Timelines reward certainty and not accuracy, and speed outruns verification by design. And once speed wins, the loop locks. That's all that goes on. So I'm going to show you the loop, because it's always the same. Always the same. First, you get maximal language, right? You get war, existential, the red line. Second, right, the media treats the word as an event. So headlines outrun the context, and then panels fill the silence with speculation. And then third, right, I want you to catch what goes on, because the audiences will polarize instantly. Strength, weakness, action, surrender, right. The binary clicks better than the structure of it actually. And then the fourth thing that comes up is violence or market shock discharges some of the pressure. Not because it was ordered, but because tension was always going to find an outlet. And then panic will set in, not about morality, but about narrative instability. And that's when compression starts. I'm just showing you, right? Because narrative compression is the pivot. Right? Sanctions, proxies, history, miscalculation, feedback. They'll all get compressed into one word, all get crushed into one word: war. I want you to get what goes on, because war simplifies liability. It centralizes the blame and restores the illusion of control. And more importantly, war absolves the system itself. That's what it does. Who gets blamed first in a war? Not any of the systems. They never talk about a system when a war starts. They never talk about incentives when a war starts. Ever. They never bring up any of the narrative accelerants that they pumped into the system. They'll always pick a person, someone visible, disposable, and narratively clean. Like what I said, a proxy commander, a military leader, whatever you want to hear. Rogue actor. I'm just trying to get you prepared for what's going to happen, because somebody who's going to be named, photographed, and summarized will appear suddenly. Because blaming leadership implies that. Right. Implies that everything's gone. I'm just trying to help you with what it is. Blaming structure implies complicity has already happened. Blaming the system implies reform is possible. None of those are profitable, what I just said. I'm just trying to get you together about it. So the coverage will always head toward this individual escalated. It always will. This action forced the response. This is when things changed, right? Even though changed happened long before that moment. I'm just starting you up, right? The loop was already running. Machine already hot, and the blamed actor will simply be the first one caught in that frame. And that's how the conflict becomes content, and then content becomes inevitability. Because the media does not manufacture war, it stabilizes it narratively once instability threatens the market. War is a compression algorithm. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It takes runaway complexity and converts it into a story that can be sold, argued, repeated, and monetized. That is the sole ability of war: compression. Right, a compression algorithm. So when one side says war, and then the other side says we do not seek war, the system here's an opportunity. Because whether or not war actually happens, the loop already pays. Right, until it doesn't. That's when it breaks, right? The coverage won't ask why the system stopped working either, why it slipped. It will ask who pulled the trigger. And that's the oldest move in the book. Because the system caused the system to slip. They just gonna worry about who pulled the trigger. I'm just being honest with you. That's the loop everybody's inside. And that's why the curtains keep closing before the real cause walks on stage. Because you keep listening to people who are not concerned about the system causing this to us. They're concerned about who pulled the trigger. This one particular person. They're always gonna say, this one person made it go wrong. I'm just telling you what happens every single time, and it will happen again. But that is the reality of the situation with the war declaration. And
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to my YAHAWAH who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawak coming at you with another lesson. Shalom to the speckled brother that been looking at the other nations, but actually Asherallah. Today's lesson, we're talking about a lot of different topics. Not really. It's just one main topic, which is basically the fact that this year 2026 apparently it seems to be a promising year. I'll say that to the least. I'm not going to say, because that's stupid for me to say, I'm not saying that this is the year we're going to get out of here. I'll say that I pray that it's a year, and I'll say that it is looking likely that it is going to be the year, but definitively I'm not stating that, all right, that this is the year. Anyway, to continue on, this is one of the things, the first video you saw, this is a part of it where there is, the whole, I accidentally pressed something. Iran's declares. So yeah, Iran declares war, full-fledged war on the U.S. a few days ago. All right, now on top of that, there's also this whole Neuralink thing. I am going to be 1,000% honest with you. I remember looking up a lot of different articles on Neuralink in, I think, 2024, and then I was like, where the frick are all the articles on Neuralink in 2025? And I was like, I didn't hear anything. I barely heard anything. I think I just did not hear anything at all. I just remembered it. I was like, well, this is disappointing. Like, what the hell is going on? Where's the information? Where's the stuff that's happening with Neuralink? And then lo and behold, now I see, okay, well, they're doing Neuralink stuff again now, and I'm like, okay, so call them Yahawadah. This is what we need. This is what needs to happen for stuff to start popping off and stuff like that. And this is why I'm saying, because that's not even the only thing. It's not just these two. It's also this thing with the whole DJT saying this stuff about this is enjoy your last Christmas, or this might be the last Christmas and stuff like that. Well, that's another thing where it's like, okay, good, call them with all the stuff that's been happening and this whole accumulation. It looks good. Of course, it looks good, but at the same time, it's the end is not determined based off of other people or what Esau says or what Esau does. But we see as I'm about to get it. 2 Ezra chapter 9. Verse 1, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. On top of that, Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 2, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen is made at them. Basically, the thing here is that we're watching these signs, we're seeing all the stuff that's happening, and we are rejoicing at knowing and understanding that, okay, yes, this is what is happening, this is what's going on, for us to be that much closer to the end. All right, so call Allah for that good news. Let me also get this, Matthew 24 verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And this entire chapter really is basically the general consensus of all the stuff that's been happening and that's going on, and telling us, okay, yeah, this is what's going on. This is the accumulation. This is all the joined things of yeah, we are getting closer and closer to the end, where we're watching these different things. We're seeing the war, rumors of wars. We see the race wars. We see the whatever, everything that's going on. Slakia here. Verse 11, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Okay, and that's been the thing that's been going on. As a matter of fact, last year or 2025, where there was a lot of people that were being led astray by these different camps. All right, where different camps have been saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, you don't need to follow after this," and stuff like that, or just in general, different camps have been following after different doctrines and whatnot. You know, certain people have been broken off with the whole Genesis stuff and stuff like that. Like, that has been a big thing. Oh yeah, and Al-Azhar saying that he's not an Israelite anymore, or whatever the frick. I don't know what the details were, but that was just basically how it was going on, and how a lot more false prophets are out here preaching a different doctrine. All right, so something to take note of and to remember. And we see that, oh yeah, these are all the stuff that's happening, and that we acknowledge for when Yahawashi returns. Now, Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay, so that's another thing where this devil knows that his time is short. This devil knows that his time is running out, so he's trying to accelerate stuff. You see the acceleration of, you know, prophecy, not prophecy, but well, yes, technically prophecy, where he's trying to say all these different things. There's the wars that's happening. There's the what's the other one? The saying that, oh yeah, they're pushing their plans. You know, the economy getting messed up and stuff like that. All these different stuff that's been happening, and that's been accumulating slowly but surely. Okay. As a matter of fact, I think that was in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will not tarry. Slocky, something like that. Let me get it actually. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Basically, you know, even though all the prophecy, it seems like, oh, it's not happening yet, but we see through the signs that yes, it's happening very soon. But yet you have slackers that will think, okay, well, it's not going to come for another 100 years. And I actually think I went over that. I don't actually remember anymore. I think I did go over that, where there was I think it was Al-Azhar who said, oh, the Lord might come for 100 years from now and stuff like that, where again, it might not, it's still not, I don't think that's an appropriate thing to say, because it just kind of breeds like faithlessness in the sense of like letting people think that, well, because the Lord's not going to come anytime soon, well, why would I live a righteous life if I'm not going to have to answer to the Lord and stuff like that? Well, he's not coming now, then okay, well, I'm just going to be the slacker that I am, and I think that's the faithlessness that he pushed when he said something like that, because there's lots of people that just that their only goal is, oh, well, how do I just alleviate myself from responsibility? All right, now next, Revelation chapter 13 verse 16. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive an mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Basically, when the actual new economic systems, digital currency and all that stuff gets implemented, then that's when we're going to know, like, okay, you know what, now this is it, like this is the serious stuff up and stuff like that. But a lot of people are saying, or a lot of different camps, I don't know which ones, have been saying, I forgot which ones. I think it was HOI, definitely HOI. If not, they might have changed, but I'm pretty sure that they still don't teach that. I think WFI as well, last time I saw. And I don't know who else, but lots of different camps have been saying that the MOTB is not the RFID. All right. So next, continuing on, or it's not a physical mark. I think that's a better thing to say. It's not a physical mark. Next, Revelation 16 verse 14, where they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of Yahweh Almighty. Basically, Esau is working miracles on the left-hand side. I believe that's the proper term. Yes, the left-hand side, where what happened here is this guy in this article, this brother had read, he mentioned how Elon Musk, he basically was able to give or allow these paralyzed people the opportunity to walk, not to walk again, to control stuff with their mind rather than controlling stuff with their hand. All right, so this is another an example of the devil's miracles, allowing stuff to allowing stuff to be a reality which it wouldn't have been able to normally. All right. Lastly, 2 Corinthians 2 verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Basically, we are aware of what Esau is doing, so we're not allowing him to try to deceive us. Okay, so that's why we have to be in the know. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, SHAMAIWAN, double honors to the elders and apostles of great meal, son of God, and Shalom.